Yo, dudes, the Empire's pretty chill. Maybe you could, join it or something.
Hey everyone, Lucimus Prime here. So it's time for another franchise ranking video today, and today, guys, I'm going to be ranking a franchise which is a buddy cop action franchise, and this is a franchise directed entirely by one of my favourite directors of all time, Richard Donner. May he rest in peace. And these films, there's 4 of them, further helped cement my love for him as a director. And this franchise I'm going to be ranking, guys, is none other than, of course, the Lethal Weapon films. So yeah, now I'm going to be ranking all 4 of the films, guys, from best to weakest, because in my opinion, none of these films are bad. They don't get worse and worse, in my opinion, as I rank them. They just get, weaker and weaker, if you get what I mean. So yeah, I don't think any of the films are bad movies. I think they're all very good movies, and yeah, and as I said, they further help cement my love for Richard Donner as a director. So yeah. Now then, let's begin the franchise ranking, shall we? So, starting with what is easily my favourite of the franchise, guys, I'm going to be going with, of course, what is the second installment from 1989, which is Lethal Weapon 2. So, if this is my personal favourite of the franchise, guys, I really love Lethal Weapon 2. So, what's great about this movie, guys? So, this is definitely a really amazing sequel to the original movie, guys. One of my favourite, action movie sequels of all time. Really great movie, in my opinion. And it has a really great cast. So, the number one highlight of the whole franchise, guys, especially this movie being my favourite, is definitely the chemistry and performances by Mel Gibson and Danny Glover, who, of course, play Martin Riggs and Roger Murtaugh. And they're both really likeable, great characters to watch, really entertaining from start to finish. They have really amazing chemistry, guys, and yeah, they're just really great characters, and yeah. And Richard Donner did an amazing job directing this movie, and yeah. And what was great about this movie is that it put some comedy in the movie, and it worked really well, in my opinion, adding the comedy, because it was very entertaining to watch, absolutely. And I really love this. So, an example of something that's really funny is probably the inclusion of a brand new character, guys, introduced to this movie, who would later go on to appear in the next movie after this, which is, of course, Leo Getz, played by the amazing Joe Pesci. And this is probably my third favourite role of Joe, behind Harry in the first Home Alone films, and Tommy DeVito in Goodfellas. And he was really funny in this movie, so funny, absolutely hilarious, guys. And yeah, he worked so well in this movie. This movie also introduced probably my favourite villains of the franchise, guys, which are I.M. Rudd and Peter Vorsted, who are 2 South African diplomats and the villains of this movie, and boy, were they so terrifying. They really were. Josh Ackland and Derek O'Connor did a great job playing Ian and Peter. They did such a great job playing them. And what's also great about these villains is, of course, Vorsted has probably the most personal connection to Riggs, because it's revealed that he's responsible for the death of Riggs' wife, Victoria. This movie has a really amazing revenge story in which Riggs gets his revenge by killing Vorsted, and yeah, absolutely gets his revenge, and yeah, really great. And he also, of course, avenges another girlfriend of his called Rika van der Haas, played by Patsy Kensit, who is, of course, Rudd's secretary, but Vorsted kills her, sadly. But Riggs, of course, avenges her, so yeah, great revenge story right there, absolutely. And there's many memorable lines such as, "It's just been revoked, whatever you need, Leo Getz," and "You are not dead until I tell you." So yeah. Also, great soundtrack as well, guys, composed by several composers. For example, I believe one of them was Michael Kamen. I think he did it for all films, and may he rest in peace. Great composer, for things like, this, and also Die Hard, and other things too, like X-Men 2000, and many other great films as well. And he composes alongside Eric Clapton, who is one of my favourite band singers, from Derek and the Dominos, and also and David Sanborn. So yeah, they did a great job, composing this, absolutely. Really great. And so yeah, and this was definitely an amazing film from start to finish, guys. I love Lethal Weapon 2. So I don't really think I can think of any bad qualities about this movie, guys. I really can't really think of any, because this is so fun from start to finish. Lots of great action scenes, and, even heartwarming moments as well. in this movie as well. This movie definitely has that, and you know, and the cast is really amazing. I consider Roger to be my favourite role of Danny Glover, and Riggs is probably my second favourite role of Mel Gibson behind William in Braveheart, but he's definitely one of his best roles in my opinion, guys, because he played him so well in this movie. So yeah, I really love this movie, guys, and I also regard it overall as my third favourite Richard Donner film of all time, behind his director's cut Superman 2 and The Goonies. And if I was to rank this movie out of 10, guys, I would rank Lethal Weapon to a full-blown 10 out of 10. So yeah, I really love Lethal Weapon 2, guys. Yeah, amazing movie. And now on to what is my second favourite in the franchise, guys. I'm going to go in with the predecessor of this film, which is, of course, 1987's Lethal Weapon, the first movie. Definitely a really great start to the franchise, guys, absolutely. So what's great about it is, you know, this franchise is considered to be one of the greatest buddy cop, you know, film franchises, and this movie definitely proves it. And this was also written, of course, by Shane Black, guys, and he did a very good job writing this movie. Very good job, in my opinion. Mel Gibson and Danny Glover have excellent chemistry in the movie, as always. Of course, this started it off, absolutely. And yeah, really played so well. And we're doing lots of Christmas themes in this film as well, which is pretty cool. Loads of Christmas themes. And yeah. And there's also memorable lines such as Morto's catchphrase, "I'm too old for this, you know what." And also, you're not trying to draw a psycho pension, you really are crazy. And the movie also has a pretty emotional backstory for Riggs, because, of course, as I just mentioned when talking about Lethal Weapon 2, you know, he's, of course, depressed after his wife was killed, so yeah. And there's also a heartwarming ending regarding this as well, where he visits his late wife's grave and says, "Merry Christmas, Victoria Lynn, I love you." Very emotional scene, in my opinion, guys. And there's lots of cool action scenes, like the fight between Riggs and also Mr. Joshua. Pretty good villain, in my opinion, guys. I like Mr. Joshua. Although I do like the villains better in this sequel more. He was definitely a very good villain. And this is definitely a very great start to the franchise, guys. Really strong start, in my opinion. And I really enjoyed this from start to finish. Yeah, great movie. However, if I was to pick any like bad qualities, I'd probably say that the only nitpick I'd have with this first movie is probably that, you know, Riggs trying to kill himself over the death of his wife is a bit, you know, scary and sad to watch, in my opinion. Yeah, it's very heartbreaking, you know, and pretty disturbing, in my opinion, seeing him trying to kill himself while he's watching Looney Tunes. So yeah, definitely a very sad scene, in my opinion. But thankfully, you know, he didn't do it. Thank God for that. So yeah, but I can let that slide because this is still a great movie, guys. An amazing start to the franchise. And if I was to rank Lethal Weapon and the first movie out of 10, I'll give this movie definitely a very solid 9 out of 10. Great movie, in my opinion. Great start to the franchise. Yeah, I loved it. And so, yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. And thank goodness Richard directed this instead of that awful Superman 4 movie from the same year, because that movie was hot garbage. Because he declined to direct that movie. And, of course, this movie came out in the same year. So, yeah, he did the right thing to do this movie instead. Yeah, well done, Richard. And then, in third place, guys, I'm going to be going with what is, of course, the fourth installment of the franchise, which is 1998's Lethal Weapon 4. So, yeah. And this is definitely once again a good movie, guys, in my opinion. Very good movie, because, like I said, none of these films are bad, in my opinion. And, yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. Really good movie. And sadly, of course, this was also the final Lethal Weapon film to be directed by Richard Donner before he died, you know, last year, so may he rest in peace. But this movie is definitely really great, in my opinion. So what's good about it is, you know, now despite it not being as good, in my opinion, as the first two films of the franchise, it's still really fun to watch. It contains elements that make, you know, it's still a great Lethal Weapon movie, absolutely. And you know what, Mel Gibson and Danny Glover are still really amazing, as always, in their roles. They still have really amazing chemistry. They're very fun to watch. And Joe Pesci is once again still hilarious as Leo in this movie. So funny. Like, absolutely funny character in this franchise. He really is so funny. Really funny, in my opinion. Great comic relief. Especially with his catchphrase, which is, okay. God, he's so funny. And other good thing as well about this as well, which makes it great, is it also introduces a new character called Lee Butters, played by Chris Rock, who is the funny, foul-mouthed, wisecracking detective. Yeah, he's really fun to watch, guys. You know, Chris Rock, yeah, he's so funny, in my opinion, guys, in this, definitely. Probably my favourite live-action roles of his, absolutely. And there's also a pretty awesome villain, guys, who is called Wah Sing Koo, who is played by Jet Li. he's definitely does a very good job in this movie, in my opinion, guys. He plays him so well, in my opinion. And this is definitely a way better villainous role for him compared to his role, of course, in the third Mummy movie, Tomb of Dragon Emperor. That movie sucked, in my opinion, and he was wasted. But thankfully in this, he was way better, in my opinion. Much better. There's many more cool action scenes in this. There's an awesome car chase, and there's also a final battle which is between Riggs and Murtaugh versus Wasinku, which is very good and definitely really fun to watch. It once again really has funny moments as well, definitely, and many funny quotes as well. And of course, they also paraphrase Murtaugh's characters by saying, "We're not too old for this, you know what." So yeah. And there's heartwarming scenes as well, absolutely, as well, where Leo sympathises with Riggs' death of his wife and tells about his backstory. So it makes me really like Leo in this movie, guys. It makes him, really likeable in this, absolutely. And in addition as well, guys, the movie also introduces a new character. This movie and the third movie had a character called, who is, of course, played by Rene Russo as well, which is definitely pretty nice. She's called Lorna, who is Riggs' new girlfriend. And of course, in this film, they're having a baby. So yeah, it's definitely a very nice way to wrap up, absolutely. And of course, Myrtle's daughter's having a baby as well. So yeah, that's pretty. So that's kind of like a good way to close the franchise, really, which involves having children, and of course, for Myrtle's case, grandchildren. So yeah, and in my opinion, guys, I would actually say this is probably the perfect ending of a franchise, because it ends on a very heartwarming note, in which the extended family with their children and grandchildren have a family picture together, and ended on a very high note, in my opinion, guys. Very high note. Yeah, it was definitely, a very nice way to wrap up the franchise, but sure, it may not be as good as the first two, and the reason why is because, well, I mean, sure, it may not add up to me, in my opinion, and one thing that I noticed in Jet Li's, scenes is that he was acting a bit too fast at times, being really fast, so it was quite hard to see what he was doing. And I do also believe that Richard Donner actually, had the time to slow down when directing him. So yeah, he was going a bit fast, but yeah, I would definitely take his performance in this over his performance in the Mummy Tomb of Dragon Emperor, because he was wasting that movie. So yeah, he was way better in this than that movie, definitely. And if I was to rank this movie out of 10, guys, I'll definitely give it a very solid 8 out of 10. So yeah, my third favourite of franchise. And now on to what is probably my least favourite of franchise, guys, but it's still good, in my opinion. Not a terrible movie by any means. And that would have to be, of course, what is the third installment, of course, which is 1992's Lethal Weapon 3. So as I said, guys, it's not a bad movie, in my opinion, by any means. It's still good. Like, the good things is that, Mel Gibson and Danny Glover are still great in this movie with their performances. This movie, of course, introduces Lorna, played by Rene Russo. So, yeah. And she's definitely a great character, because she's like, a female equivalent to Riggs, and she's a very likeable character and very fun to watch, in my opinion. And there's very good humour as well. And also as well, this movie also introduced a villain called Jack Travis, who is played by Stuart Wilson, who was once an LAPD officer, but got fired for his reckless actions. And in that sense, guys, he's kind of like, a dark parallel of Riggs, in a way. So that's pretty cool, actually, that we did that. And yeah, he played him really well, guys. But personally, guys, I like him far better as Don Montero in The Mask of Zorro. That's my favourite role, Stuart Wilson. But he was still really good in this movie, in my opinion, guys. Really fun to watch, in my opinion. Very good villain, in my opinion. And this movie is still good, in my opinion, guys. But I don't think it's a terrible movie by any means. But I still think it's the weakest of a franchise. So, yeah. But nonetheless, Richard Donner still did a great job directing this movie. So, now, if there was any bad qualities I could say of a movie, there is so much I could say. For example, sure, it may not be as good as the first two films, of course. And the reason why is because even though Leo was still a really funny character to watch, Joe Pesci was still hilarious in this movie, guys, I kind of feel like he was treated pretty badly in this and was quite underused. Because, yeah, because he was bullied several times and ended up in hospital as well, sadly. And he was hardly in the movie. He barely had any screen time, sadly. So, yeah, that was pretty sad, wasn't it? So, yeah. Yeah, a bit of a shame that, they had to treat Leo like that and not give him much screen time, because he was great comic relief in the second movie. Thankfully, the fourth movie, in my opinion, used him much better, thankfully. So, yeah, I'm glad that, in the fourth movie, they gave him a much bigger role and, much more to do. And they gave him a heartwarming side to his character as well. So yeah. But nonetheless, well, guys, I told you this is a very good movie. Not terrible by any means. So if I was to rank Lethal Weapon 3 out of 10, guys, I would rank it a very decent 7.5 out of 10. So yeah, not a terrible movie in my opinion. Just the weakest of a franchise in my opinion. So yeah. Now, so that's my ranking of franchise, guys. So as you have just seen, my ranking, of course, is, you know, first place would be Lethal Weapon 2, and then of course, second place would be Lethal Weapon, the first movie, and then third place will be Lethal Weapon 4, and then of course, in fourth place, and my least favorite franchise, but not a terrible movie in my opinion, the weakest, which of course would be Lethal Weapon 3. So now, as you guys may or may not be aware, they are apparently planning on doing a fifth Lethal Weapon movie, which is currently in development. And the thing is, guys, you know, because it's taken them a very long time to make this, since, you know, 1998, when they concluded the franchise with Lethal Weapon 4, it's making me a bit, you know, concerned about a franchise, because you know, because I think the fourth movie had a pretty amazing ending, which, you know, wraps up the story really well, in my opinion. But yeah, and because it's taken too long to make, you know, it's caused several problems with production. So, for example, Richard Donner was planning to direct this movie, guys, and he confirmed in, I think it was in around December 2020, that he was going to be directing this movie, and it would also be his final film he'd direct before he'd retire from being a director. So, yeah, but sadly, of course, in July last year, he passed away. So, yeah, rest in peace, Richard Donner. And it looks like that Mel Gibson is in talks to direct this movie as well. And he'd be helming the film to honour Richard Donner. So, with regards to me watching this movie or not, guys, well, because Richard Donner wanted to make this movie, he had a vision for this movie planned out, I will give it a watch to honour his legacy. I will do that out of respect for Richard Donner. Because, yeah, and it will be nice to see, you know, Riggs and Myrtle back, because it's confirmed that it was confirmed from Richard Donner that apparently Mel Gibson and Danny Glover have agreed to return for this movie. So, yeah. I will be checking it out to see them back in action, but I don't know. Hopefully this will be, you know, a nice end to a franchise. We'll see. Who knows, eh? And apparently it's going to be released via streaming on, I think it's on HBO. So yeah, it's not going to be released in theaters. I think it's going to be released straight away on HBO on streaming. So yeah, and it's also going to be called Lethal Finale as well, which is pretty interesting. Yeah. Although, in my opinion, the fourth movie served as a pretty amazing finale already. But yeah. And anyway, guys, so yeah, I'll be giving the finale, as it's called, to watch, so I can see what it's like. And hopefully it'll be a nice end to a franchise. I really hope so, because it's taken a long time to make. But then again, well, guys, there have been some examples of, you know, late sequels which have been amazing. For example, you've got films like, you know, Blade Runner 2049, and also The Incredibles 2, Toy Story 3, and also Top Gun Maverick, and there's probably many other examples like Mad Max Fury Road as well. So yeah, and many others, which have definitely been, you know, amazing late sequels as well. So yeah, and also things like Tron Legacy and Bill and Ted Face of Music as well have had great reviews as well from people. So yeah, that's pretty cool, isn't it? So hopefully this film will be good. Hopefully it'll be something really nice to see, really. And yeah. So guys, this is me doing my ranking of the Lethal Weapon films from best to weakest in my opinion. So you know the drill, guys. Be sure to give this video a like. Also, be sure to comments how you guys would rank the Lethal Weapon films, and look to see how you guys would rank them. Also, be sure to join Team Plan by pressing subscribe for more videos coming in the future. If you'd like to be a member, you can join one of these pieces of odds, or you can look at the description, and I'll see you all later.